Hello and welcome. My name is Zach Thraves, and I'm going to be talking about clocks, and specifically time. This is from my Back to the Future souvenir program, Souvenir Magazine. It's called 1985. In 1985, that was £1.50. There you go. Why am I talking about Back to the Future? Well, because I've got a workshop which will help with mental health issues, like the things that I go through, and I use Back to the Future as a jumping off point. I talk about various aspects of the film and how they can help us with our mental health, with our emotions. Personally, I've gone through self-harming, I've gone through suicidal thoughts, and here I am still. I'm still standing. That's Elton John. So specifically today, in this brief little short video, I want to talk about clocks and time. Now, in the Back to the Future film, we open with a series of clocks. That's the first image we see, ticking away. Time ticks away, because time keeps ticking. But what is time? Well, I referred to a book called You'll See It When You Believe It. And in this book by Dr Wayne Dyer, he says time does not exist. Einstein's life study was devoted to the simple message that we exist in a completed universe, which I take to mean as this: when you say you want to do something, when you visualize the success of something, if there's something that you want to do, something that you want to be, something that you want to achieve, then it's already happened. Once you've put it out there, it's already happened. If you set yourself on the path to do that, it's already happened. In that, you just have to wait to get there, basically, because obviously we are moving slowly. We're moving forward. But if time doesn't exist, when you go to when you have a dream, for instance, the dream. Okay, some people think dreaming is just dreaming. It's a load of nonsense. Okay, I don't particularly think that. I think dreaming is just another part of our subconscious living, our conscious living, which is why we have vivid dreams, which is why we feel things, which is why we get upset, which is why we can feel pain, which is why we can feel sensations, all through the power of another realm, possibly. Is it? You tell me. What do you believe? But I believe that. So time doesn't exist in dreams, does it? From one second you're talking to somebody who's been dead for 5 years. The next minute you're talking to them as a young person, and there is no sense of time or progress as we would see it here in our sort of our awakening consciousness, whatever it is. Time to be awake people, awake. So for instance, 8 hours and 80 years are the same thing. And when you're in your dream state, that's exactly, you just go from one to the other. A whole life can happen in the blink of a couple of hours sleep, and you have lived that whole life. It's quite an amazing thing to get your head around, is it not? I think it is, because it's real. Because in the dream it's very real, isn't it? In the dream you're experiencing that, you're experiencing the sensations. So we live in a form state. This is our form. Our minds, as I keep saying in other videos, our minds are like a TARDIS, and they're bigger on the inside because we are connected. We're all connected to everything. We're connected to each other. We're connected to the plants and the trees and the earth. We're connected to the stars in the sky, the planets, the comets. We're connected to the sun. We're connected to all of that. We are all part of the same thing. We're all made of molecules and atoms and things that are all part of the same thing. So why shouldn't we be connected? The trouble is we forget these things because we have decided as human beings to start dividing up and putting barriers up and putting divisions up. And one of those divisions is time. When you think about it like this, time is simply a measure of the daylight, isn't it? we've broken the hours that it's light into hours, obviously, and then we've broken that down into minutes and that down into seconds. We've done the same with nighttime, so we know when nighttime ends and when daytime begins. We know we've figured out mathematically how it all works, but it doesn't make it any more real, does it? The sun will rise whether we have measurement of time or not. It won't stop rising and falling whether we measure it or not. It doesn't make any difference. The same with, we got years, we got months, we've got days, we've got weeks. It's just a measure of time. And the thing is that doesn't work for me. The thing is that we measure ourselves by time. We measure our progress by time. We measure our success by time. Somebody who is successful at 21 years old is just the same as somebody who's successful at 55 years old. But both of those people will be judged. Both of those people will be judged by their age, by time. Time is our age. We're judged by the age that we are. We're judged by how our bodies start looking as we get older. We're not judged by what's in here. We're not accepted by what's in here. It's all about outward judgment, and time is that measure. And I know we've got to live with time, because my body in this part of the universe lives in this particular realm, and I have to conform to certain rules that have been created by humans. One of those rules is the rule of time. I mean, I can't just turn up to Cineworld and say, right, I'm here for Top Gun Maverick, start it now. It doesn't work like that, does it? I have to make sure I'm there in order to watch the beginning of the film. And the adverts, obviously, and the trailers as well. So, because I like to get the whole experience. But that's fine. I'm making that. I can't just turn up at a meeting whenever I like. It's got to be when the other people are there and when I've decided to do that. And, there's plenty of times we have to conform to time. But what I'm saying to you today is just to look at it a bit differently. Just to look at it from a different perspective. Because the measurement of time adds to our stress. The measurement of time on ourselves adds to our stress. And that stress, in my experience, leads to other things. It leads to anxiety, it leads to depression, and it's just another thing. It's one other thing that we have to conform to, and we don't need to. We don't really have to do that. We can see the world the way we want to see it and not feel judged or ridiculed for doing that, because that is where the dark side leads. Anyway, this is my brief working out of time and how you can play with it. You can play, if there's something you want to do and you feel like you're too old, that's you judging you through the eyes of this world, this society. It's not the reality, not your reality. Your reality is you can do anything whenever you want to do it, whenever you feel ready to do it. If you're ready to do it at 65 years old, something you wanted to do when you were 20, then that's the way it's meant to be. But so many people don't do stuff, stop being themselves, stop achieving the things they want, live a life that they're not happy with because of time. I will leave you to ponder on that. So yeah, I have a workshop, a full day workshop. Hey, that's measured by time, all about Back to the Future and how I've used it to learn to live with my emotional imbalance and trying to balance that emotional imbalance. Yes, it's called depression as well. Yes, it's called other things. Hey, let's stick some labels on it. And it's available now. So please get in touch. And I also have a podcast which you can tune in to. You don't do that anymore, do you? Anyway, tune in to the podcast. It's called The Outsiders. Mark and Zach, The Outsiders. Have a look at that. And think about this. Think about time. Think about how it affects your life. Think about maybe some ways you can change your perspective in order to overcome when time doesn't work for you. The sirens are calling. Adios.